Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to this CNE Coordinator webinar. We're kind of excited. This is the first one that we've done. And I'm Carol Moreland from the Board of Nursing. And I just wanted to briefly kind of update you. Some of you did work with Chelsea, who worked here before, and Chelsea is no longer here. And so right now I am covering the CNE responsibilities. So if you need to get a hold of CNE, you can email me, or you can email Stacy Johnson, and she is the assistant in education. That will certainly help you also. And as I said, this is the first of one of these webinars, and we're kind of hoping to do these webinars at least every other month, if not every quarter. So I just like your feedback throughout, the next few weeks or something, whether you think this has been helpful, and any future ones that topics or anything that you would like us to cover would be greatly appreciated. I think the next one will probably be about the 5-year renewal applications and process, because there seems to be a little bit of confusion around there. And we're trying to get that cleared up so it's easier for everyone involved with those. So that's kind of our plan for the next one. But today we wanted to tell you about CE Broker. We actually started this September 1st of this year, and we're very excited in the partnership with CE Broker. And so today we have Deb Carter, who's their client success manager. She is going to kind of overview CE Broker, and then she's going to talk to you more about CE Broker and how the CNE program coordinators would be using it and stuff like that. We are going to have the chat open for you to put questions in, and then we will wait till the end, and then we'll go through all of those questions. So if you have questions, just put them in the chat, and we will see them. Thank you. Deb, are you ready?
I'm ready. Let's see. Let me get all set up here. I'm going to share my screen. Oh, Colt, it's telling me that I can't share.
You should be able to now, maybe.
Let's give it. There it goes. Okay. All right. So hopefully everyone should be able to see my screen here, where it has CE Broker. Very good. All right. Well, I appreciate the folks at Kansas Board of Nursing putting this together, giving us an opportunity to introduce you all to CE Broker. Like Carol was saying, I'm going to have a little presentation here where I take you through some of the high points of what we have to offer for you. And then we'll have time for a Q&A at the end. So you'll see the Q&A down at the bottom. So just any questions you have, post there, and then we'll take care of the questions at the end. So first question that you might have is, who is CE Broker? What is CE Broker? So we've been in business for about 20 years, and our purpose is to bring together all of the stakeholders involved in licensee continuing education. So we provide tools for the board, for licensees, and then for the continuing education providers. And in our world, we call them providers. So that's what you'll kind of hear my terminology. So our idea is to bring all of those stakeholders together on one platform to make it easy so licensees can find CE, take those courses, and then reach their CE compliance, and then get on with the business of the important business of actually doing their job. So we want to do this as easy as possible, and like I say, bring everyone together. So what I'm going to focus on today is that provider account, the part that we provide to the people who are offering the courses. And the one thing that I want to mention is that CE Broker, we don't create courses, we don't offer courses ourselves, we don't create any content. We just facilitate putting those courses out in front of the licensees, and then also facilitate with that approval process on the board side. So what I want to give you an overview today is of the provider suite, and how that provider suite interacts with our licensee suite, with the licensee account as well. So we'll show you, here we are at the dashboard, how to manage your courses, how to report completions for the licensees, how to see your board approvals, apply for other boards if that you're interested in that, the communication center, how to add users into the CE broker account. So just kind of a quick high overview of how this whole process works. So I know most of you, I believe, are probably already have that approval from the board to offer the courses. So the way that we're going to handle that is, typically if you were a brand new provider, you would go through the application process starting on our website. Since you've already done that, we don't want to be redundant in that. So we will go ahead and set up those accounts for you. So look for an email that's asking you, it's like a password reset email to activate that account. We'll kind of work through all the different providers, getting those accounts set up for you. Take care of that. If after this presentation we have, you're really excited to get going and you don't see that email in the next week or so, feel free to reach out to our support center. Let them know you're ready to get going. Provide them the name of your primary contact, your email address, your physical address. You can just email that information to the support center. They'll pass that along to me and I can get your account set up right away. So if it seems like you really want to get going and you don't get that, activation email, again, just reach out to our support center and I'll update them on that process as well. You'll hear me talk about the support center a lot as we go through this little demo here. We have a really wonderful support center, highly trained agents. I actually started in the support center, so I'm kind of familiar with all the training that they receive. Anytime you have questions, you need help, feel free to reach out to them. At the end of this, I'll show you how to get in touch with them, but just know that's available to you. The other thing I wanted to mention, we do provide this all at no charge. So there's no charge to use the provider suite. There's no charge to access our support center. Everything is provided to you in conjunction with the tools that we provide to the board. So don't be looking at this thinking, okay, where's the catch? How much am I going to have to pay? Because this is all provided to you at no charge. So let's get started. Once you get that password reset email from us, all you'll do is just enter in the password that you would like to have, and then that's going to start you right here on what we call the provider suite dashboard. So you'll see a dashboard that looks very similar to this. And the dashboard is basically just a snapshot of your provider performance, the number of courses that you have, the boards that you're approved for. So just kind of a quick little overview of your provider account. Typically, where you're going to spend most of your time is in this course section. And the way the provider account works is this is your little menu bar that runs down the top or down the side. So this is your dashboard. If I click this, it's going to take me to the courses, boards, et cetera, et cetera. So this is your menu bar. And if I go back to the dashboard, one thing I forgot to mention, the one thing that you will probably need to know how to do on the dashboard is if you click, you'll see your name up here. I've used the not so clever name as test. Every account is assigned what we call a 50- number. This is your identifying number in CE Broker. So if you reach out to our support center, they'll probably ask you what your 50- number is. That's how we identify you in our system. So this is how you find it. You just are going to click your name right here, and then that 50- number is right there. There's some other tabs here, just has your account information where you can update it. But if you need to find that 50- number, it's right there. I'm going to go back to the dashboard here. Again, just a quick little snapshot, number of active courses, board approvals. If you're reporting for your licensees, which we'll talk about in just a minute, you'll see a little graph here kind of illustrating that. So let's go down to courses. This is probably, like I say, where you'll spend most of your time and the place that you'll kind of need to know how to navigate through. Once you get here in the courses, you're going to see a list of all of your courses. And then you'll also be able to see the status of each course. So you can see this one is active, this course is in progress. Each course has a little panel with buttons at the end. So if it's an active course, you're able to click here, View Summary. And this gives you information about the course. The board that the course is set up for, all of you will have Kansas State Board of Nursing, the professions, the hours for the course. Here you can use this little button to set a course as inactive if you don't want it to be available any longer. So just a quick little overview of each course. And then there's also a manage roster button here. We'll talk about that in a little bit more. But just each course you have offered, you'll see listed here. Probably the main thing that you'll be doing in the beginning is adding new courses. So in order to create a new course, you'll use this button right here, which says new course. And that's going to set up an icon for you to create a new course. This course right here, I've started just so that you didn't have to watch me do a bunch of typing. So you can kind of tell this course says in progress. One of the nice things when you click new course, you can start through that process. And if you get interrupted or you need to look up some additional information, you'll be able to leave and then come back and pick up right where you left off. So if you're creating a course, you don't have to complete the whole thing in one sitting. You'll have a button right here that says continue creation. So I'm going to click that and just show you a few high points about actually adding courses into your CE Broker account. So if you were to click new course or continue creation, you're going to see this screen here. And if you're continuing, it's going to take you right where you left off. I'm going to go back as though I were creating a new course. So if you're creating a new course, you'll see again this screen with all these different little steps. So here it's going to show you just a bit of the requirements. Because you're already approved, there's not a ton of requirements, just letting you know that the course will be automatically added to your CE Broker account. And then these are your steps here. So you're just going to click next. And it's going to take you to the next step. So this is going to be the name of the course. Probably the main place that I see people go wrong here where it says name, they'll put their name. So just know that this is the name of the course. If I were to put my name, then the course would be called Deb Carter, which clearly no one would take a course named Deb Carter probably. So just make sure that this is the name of the course. And then here you'll have a description of the course. And in a moment, I'll show you how that's going to show up in the licensee account. So this is just a way for you to describe the course that you're going to be offering. The licensees will see that description and kind of encourage them, oh, this is a course that I'm interested in taking based on this description. This section here where it says disclosure statements, you can completely ignore that. That's for something else. And here we're going to tell it whether it's an anytime, basically a computer, typically a course you're going to take on a computer, or it's live. Live is going to be that the participants are going to walk into a building, or it could be kind of like this, an interactive webinar, but live is typically that you have to be there at a certain time, or you have to actually walk into a building. Then you're just going to click next. Here's our delivery method. If it's a live course, you just pick, is it a class? Is it a conference? Broadcast interactive, is it kind of like a webinar? Just pick what is the closest, and then you click next. This is actually pretty intuitive. Our advanced delivery method that will come up is a concurrent session. Usually that's a conference where you're offering more hours than the licensees can actually earn. Maybe it's a 2-day conference, you're going to offer 16 hours, but because there are courses happening at the same time, maybe the licensees can only get 12 hours. So just know that that's what that is. If this is additional, there's some information on our website that talks about this a little bit more in depth if it seems like that's something that is going to apply to your course. So we'll click next. This step is just going to give us some information about the course. Here's the website. So this is where you can enter in your site as the licensee migrates from our site over to your site to register for the course, maybe get some more information. This is your landing page that you'd like to have them end up on. This is where you can tell it you would like it to be displayed in the course search. You just check that box. If it's a live course, this is where you can enter in the dates that the course will be offered. So you can see down here, I've added this one to take place next month. If you want to enter a price, you can, letting them know how much the course costs. If it's a free course, you can check this box. So just a little bit of various information, again, that's going to help those licensees determine the course, if they want to take that course. And then, of course, the Website's going to be real important so that they land in the right place on your site. Then you just click next. And this page is probably one of the most important pages. This is where we're going to tell it how many hours the course, how many hours the licensees are going to be awarded. And then most important, you'll notice that we have several different professions. When you create a course, make sure that you do enter hours for each profession that you want to award hours. If you want to skip a profession, maybe this, like here is not a course that maybe we're going to offer to our licensed mental health technicians. You can leave this blank, but for every profession, just make sure that you do fill in those hours in the appropriate subject area. And then over here, it'll give you a little summary so you can kind of look and make sure that you've entered everything correctly. But a lot of times people get confused and they'll just enter in the top box and skip the bottom boxes. And then in the course search, or if you're reporting for the courses, if you've skipped that, this profession is not going to be attached to that particular course. So that's where it's important to make sure to enter for every profession that you want to offer the course to. So once that's entered, you click next. And if you skip a step, it won't let you proceed. So if I don't enter my hours, or I don't enter some of the required information, it'll let you know that you can't proceed on. So then you'll notice that it kind of skipped 7, 8, 9, and 10. If that happens, it's just hard coded that way. We know what information the board wants from you. So if it skips some of the steps, don't get worried. Just know that that was done on purpose, and you don't have to worry about trying to get into these steps because it actually won't let you. So then the last page here is just where you're able to review your information, make sure everything looks okay. If you find you've made a mistake, oh, maybe you skipped a profession, or you put in 2 hours and it should have been 4 hours, whatever, you can click back on any of these tabs and go back to those tabs. And then once everything looks okay, you simply click finish. You get this very scary message that says you will not be able to revert this course. Just know nothing is written in stone. If you made a mistake, you put your name in instead of the course name. You put the wrong hours, you did whatever. Again, contact our support center. Behind the scenes, we can make a lot of these changes for you. So you'll just click continue. It'll give you a little bit of information about the course. And now when I go back to my course list, you can see rather than that course saying that it's in progress, now the course is active. So again, it's automatically then been added to your list of courses that you're offering. So pretty simple. You just basically follow the steps. It'll hold your hand through the entire process. So the next thing that you can do here is, and this is not required by the board, some boards do require that the continuing education providers report the completions, the licensees who've taken their courses, report those completions. You're not required to do it, but I just wanted to show you real quick how you can do it if you choose to do that. It's kind of a nice benefit to those people. What happens when you report the completion, that immediately reports the course over into their CE broker account. So they don't have to report that course themselves. And once we report these completions, I'll show you how that looks. We're going to jump over to a licensee account. So there's 2 ways to report completions. The first one is you can just click on this little manage roster. Here, I don't have any rosters yet. And there's an add button right here. So if I have maybe, 5 or 6 people have taken my course, and I just want to add them one by one. So I'll just click the state. The only state option I have is Kansas. I'll put in the license number. That's not the license number I wanted, of course. Let me get over here real quick. This is the license I wanted. And this is going to bring up the profession, the name of the licensee. Here I can edit the date completed if I need to. So maybe they took this on the 3rd. Location, don't worry about that. Partial credits are only there if you're going to award less credits than what the course is approved for. Maybe it's a 6-hour course and this person is only going to get 3 hours. It was some sort of a conference. Maybe they were just there for the morning. So we just want to give them part of the credits. You can put those here. Otherwise, if they're going to get full credit for the course, all you have to do is just click save. And then you'll notice here in our panel, we have the licensee. If I look up here and I've made a mistake, maybe I have the wrong date, I can click remove and remove that reporting. But when I'm all finished, I'll click post, and then that will immediately post that completion to the licensee's account. The other way, and you can leave that there, and you can do a whole bunch of them. You could do 5, 6, 7, 8, and then click post at the end. You can leave that for an undetermined amount of time if you get interrupted and want to come back to it, which is what I'm going to do. The other way that you can upload entries is you can create a spreadsheet. So if you have a bunch of, maybe it's a big conference, there's 100, 200 people that have attended that conference, you can create a spreadsheet and then upload that spreadsheet. And it's real simple to do. You'll just click upload roster entries. Both of these sections here are going to give you information about how to create that spreadsheet. So if I click here, I'll see all the information I need. Here's how you're going to create that spreadsheet. It's really simple. The one thing to note, it's also really picky. So don't add additional information. People always want to put like the licensee name or other information. Create it just like this because that's how it's programmed to look at it. But again, this page will tell you everything you need to know about creating those spreadsheets. And just to kind of show you how it works, once you get your spreadsheet created, you'll just click here. You can either drag and drop or you can browse for your spreadsheet. And then you just click upload. I did this on purpose. If you have errors in the spreadsheet, it'll tell you what's wrong. Here, this provider account is actually 40788. If I put the wrong provider account, it'll catch that if my course number isn't right. So if I have any errors, it'll let you know. So don't worry about everything has to be perfect. If you're doing it for the first time, like, oh my gosh, am I going to break it if something is wrong? You won't. So then if you go out, fix your spreadsheet, go back to your upload, and then try it again. And then when it's all good, it'll import the file. It'll show me everyone that I've uploaded. And then all I have to do is click post now. If for some reason there's something wrong with either an individual entry, you can remove it here, or I can delete the entire upload if for some reason I wanted to start again. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to get rid of that. So real simple, you can report those completions one by one, or using the spreadsheet to report a bunch of completions all at once. And then what happens with that is if I bounce over here to my licensee account, this is the way, again, how I said that we kind of work together, licensees, those continuing education providers kind of intermingle together. So this is a licensee CE broker account. You'll see we have their license number. This tells them how close they are to completing those CE requirements for licensure, their current CE cycle. And down below, they have a comprehensive course history. This is a course that's been reported into their account. So the nice thing, if you report the course, and again, you're not required to, just kind of an added benefit, but they'll log into their CE broker account and they'll see that course right here. They can click here and it'll show, here's the tracking number, the name of the provider that reported the course, the number of hours that they received, and basically just some detail. It was submitted. Here's who it was posted by. There's my provider name. So it just saves them. The licensees can self-report courses. So if you don't report for them, they'll still be able to get that information into their CE broker account. They'll use that certificate of completion that you provide to them. They'll click here, report CE, and then they're able to report that themselves. The other thing that happens in their CE broker account, which another reason it's nice if you activate that, upload your courses, is in their CE broker account, they have this find course. And this is what I was talking about with the course search. So all they have to do is click the find course, and this brings them into the course search. So again, kind of putting courses in front of licensees. Licensees need to take courses. You all have courses to offer them. This kind of puts those courses in front of them. And it knows that it's their profession, the state they're licensed in, and then provides them with a pretty comprehensive list of courses that they can take, shows them the price, gives them all different kinds. So the licensee can scroll down, looking at these courses right in their CE Broker account. If they're interested in a certain topic or something, they have a keyword search here. So let's say it's a pediatric, if I spell it right. And then so if it's maybe a pediatric nurse, then she can find courses in that particular subject area that might be of interest to her. Then if they find a course they're interested in, they click on it. And then it's going to open up, we think. There we go. And this is where that description, when you were setting up the course, this is where the licensee will see that description. So this is where you'll want to provide information that'll let them know this is a course you would like to take. So here's the description. Here's that link to where they're going to register that's going to migrate them from the CE Broker account over into your account, where they'll be able to register for the course and take the course. So this is what the licensee sees related to that information that you would be entering for them. Okay, I'm going to pop back over here into our provider account. So again, course history here. When you start reporting courses, if I click on my manage roster here, this is one that I've reported. So you'll have a list of everyone who you've reported for that course. You can see that information here real quick and easy. So everyone that you've reported, that history stays here. You can also delete. So if maybe you have a wrong date here, maybe somebody gave you a wrong license number, you can delete that entry and re-add it. So nice and simple, everything about courses all in one place. The other things that we can do here, like I say, you probably spend most of your time in the courses, but we do have access to board information. So here's our Kansas State Board of Nursing approved provider. Here's this renewal application, just wanted to mention that. So when that 5-year renewal comes up, you can see this one is 2028, so quite a ways down the road. But this little renew application button will become active 120 days out from that expiration. When you click renew application, then that'll step you through that process. If there's a form to fill out, whatever you need in order to renew that application, it'll step you right through that process. The other thing that'll happen 120 days out is you'll get an email from CE Broker letting you know that that is about to expire. In your communication section, it'll show you the communication letting you know. Also 120 days out, each time you log into your CE Broker account, you'll get a little banner saying, hey, your Kansas Board of Nursing providership is about to expire. Be sure to renew that. So we don't want your provider account to expire. So we try to kind of hit you from all different areas, letting you know that that needs to be renewed. Once you do renew it, the banner goes away, the emails stop, and you're good to go. But you'll get emails from us 120 days, 90 days, 60 days, and 30 days out until you actually renew that account. So we try to kind of have some pretty good communication with you, letting you know. And again, this will become active, and then you just click the renew and it'll step you right through that process. The other thing that you can do here in the board section is if for some reason you wanted to offer courses to other licensees in other states that we track for, you can set that up. So I'm just going to search for the word nursing and spell it right. So you'll see here, Arkansas State Board of Nursing, Florida Board of Nursing. They all have different requirements, similar to what you did with when you applied for Kansas. But you can click here, apply to the board. It'll take you through that process. And then once approved, you'll have that board approval as well. So if it's something that you would like to do to get that course out in front of a bigger audience, this can help facilitate that as well. And then once you have that approval, if you go back to courses, into the summary, you'll see this little add boards, and then you can add another like New Mexico, North Dakota, add that board to this course as well, and then that will show up in your North Dakota Board of Nursing course search. So it all again kind of dovetails and all works together. So next up here, we have our communications. This is where I was talking about, we'll start sending notifications with that provider expiration. This is where those will show up under provider. You'll see when we start sending notifications, if you have a little like number 1 or number 2 up on this bell, that means you have a notification waiting, and it's going to be down in this communication section. And then the last thing here is users. This is where you're able to create or add additional users. When we set up your account, you'll have your primary contact, but if there are other people there in the office that you'd like to have access to get into this provider suite, you just click create here, add their email, their name, click send, and they'll get an email asking them to activate that user account. They'll just set up a username and a password, and then all of your users will be listed down here. If somebody happens to leave, you can inactivate them, and only the primary contact can actually inactivate or activate users. You'll see there's an admin user and then a standard user. Really, the only difference is the admin can add new users and the standard user can't. But a standard user can do everything else. They can add courses, report course completions, do anything else within the provider account. And it does require you to have a primary contact. Last thing that I wanted to be sure to mention, I'm gonna go back to the dashboard here, is I've been talking about our support center. How do you get in touch with the support center? The support center has 3 ways that you can contact them. You can contact them by phone, you can contact them by email, and then we also have live chat. So down at the bottom of each page, you'll see this little help icon. You'll click that. Over here. Here's a contact us. The little chat icon will show up at the corner here. So this is how you'll initiate a live chat conversation for those of you who like to use chat. Otherwise, if you click this little contact us, and then how do I contact customer support? You'll see here's where you can start an email. So you can contact them via email. Here's phone if you want to talk to an actual live person. They're there from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern time, Monday through Friday. And then this is the phone number that you'll call. And that'll put you in touch with our support center. And again, the support center is amazing. They really, I think 5 is the highest CSAT score you can get. And we consistently get between a 4.5 and a 4.7. So they really do an excellent job there in the support center. And I think that is everything I have, kind of in a nutshell, quickly dash through everything. If anyone has any questions, I'm happy to answer any questions.
I think we're looking at the questions here. I just want to add one thing to that. All of our licensees have a free account, and we transmit basic information to CE broker, like name, discipline, license number, when their license is going to expire, and stuff like that on somewhat of a regular basis. I don't remember exactly. So, it will pick up new licensees and stuff like that. However, each licensee has to go in and activate that free account. They have to provide a little bit of information that we do not give out on our licensees. So if you have someone who says to you, well, I don't have an account or something, they all have a free account. They just need to go out to CE broker and they need to activate it. And so we're trying to get that information out, but sometimes communication's a little bit tough. Okay, questions, Michelle?
So the first question is from anonymous attendee. Is this a requirement to use CE broker, or is this an option? What is the deadline if required? Let me just answer that. So no, it's not a requirement. And then Melanie wants to know, we are required to provide the educational information of our instructors. Why are we not required to provide them in this format?
And I guess we can set that up. That's probably maybe Carol and I may have to visit with that a little bit offline, because we definitely have the capability to add instructors if we need to. So we just implemented this. I think they said we got started in September. So there's bound to be a few little, like, once we see it, oh, we need to do this or do that. So yeah, if that's something that we need to add those instructors, we can definitely do that. I don't think it's set up for instructors right now, but I can double check that. And then Carol, if that's something that we need to add, we can definitely do that.
The next one. We have a lot of compact licensed nurses. Is there a reason we can only look up Kansas numbers?
And those are the licenses that we get. Those are the licenses that we get from the board. So that's what we have access to.
So Deb, what would they do if, say that I am a compact, or I have a multi-state license from Arkansas, but I'm in Kansas working, and I attended a CNE program given by one of our providers here. How would that show up for me when they can only see Kansas? Does that make sense?
Yeah. So probably what you would do in that case is, one, if you wanted to add the Arkansas board to your CE broker provider account, then you would be able to see Arkansas licenses. The other thing that they can do, again, we were talking about reporting, just provide that certificate of completion, and then the licensee can definitely report that into their CE broker account themselves. So either way, if it's where you don't have access to the license, licensees know how to self-report, and they could take care of that, reporting that course themselves as well.
I hope I got that right. I think that's what they were asking.
Yeah.
Okay.
The next one, is this for in-person courses as well, or just virtual education or enduring material?
It actually could do both. So we have, kind of as we were showing you at the beginning, where you have the live course. So that would be in person. If it's a computer-based, a course that they can go take anytime, it's offered on the web, then you would set that up as an anytime course.
The next one, the instructor tab is disabled, but we are required to report how many courses are taught by nurses. How is this going to tabulate that in the future?
And that's what they have to report on their annual statistical report every year. That's one of the statistics.
So it looks like we may need to activate that instructor tab. And I made a note of that. So again, Carol and I can visit with that offline. And then when you get logged in, the instructor tab actually is going to end up, you'll see it when you go to courses, it's right down here. And that's where you can add those instructors. You can attach instructors to courses. And so we can get that going, because it seems like that's something that we're going to want to do.
Next one, is there a cost to use CE broker?
There is not. Yeah, there is not. There's no cost for our support. For the provider account, there's no cost for everyone is provided a provider account at no cost. Licensees are provided the accounts at no cost as well. For licensees, we do offer some upgraded accounts if they want a few more bells and whistles, but everyone is provided an account at no cost. Amazing that I actually have a job.
And Melanie asks, we would have 2 separate accounts. So she had a question earlier about putting in the education for the instructors. I'm not sure. Okay. We'll move on to the next one. Would you still enter the license number for license holders for other states?
Only if you are approved by that state. So a lot of states will say, if you're approved by Kansas, then by virtue of rule approval, you can offer courses in other states. They'll accept providers that are approved by another state board. But then you want to go through that process of, clicking here, adding those boards into your CE Broker account. If somebody took the course, they were from a different state, then they could self-report it if you didn't have that board added into your account. The only ones who would not be able to is we don't track for every state nursing board. Someday, hopefully we will. But right now we don't partner with everyone. So if it was a board that we didn't track for, then obviously the licensee wouldn't be able to, we wouldn't have access to those license numbers. So that would be somebody that would just, you give them a certificate and they'd be on their way.
Next. Will this make all the numbers of our annual reports?
And I'm just writing that down. That's interesting because I think what they're asking here, Deb, is all of these statistics that they have to report back to us in this annual report. If they put everything in here, is there a way that they're going to pull those numbers directly out of here and not have to figure and keep track of them and stuff like that?
I think I was thinking of that as well as I was thinking about the annual report. I haven't really, I've seen the annual report, but I haven't really dug into it. I'm hoping that the answer to that is going to be yes. And I'm thinking of how we can configure the system maybe to do that. The nice thing, let me move this over here, is we do have this in when we go to, I think it's this one, when we're in our manage roster here, this information can be exported. I'm going to look at that and see if, like I'm saying, I'm hopeful that we can get all that information. And if there's something small that's missing, maybe I can reach out to our developers and see if we can get that added. Because I think that would be a really great benefit if all of the information that we needed for that report could somehow be captured here and then easily, push a button, here it is, instead of having to do all that calculation. That would be a really great benefit.
Yeah, that would be really great for them.
The next one, education providers can enter their CNE offerings in CE Broker with a link to their portal for registration, correct?
Let's see, say that again for me.
Education providers can enter their CNE offerings in CE Broker with a link to their portal for registration, correct? And then there's another part.
Yeah, so where you'll see that, when you go to set up your courses, that's going to be on that offerings page. But here, if I look at the summary, I was thinking it showed up here. Let me edit this. Yep, so here is not where you do this. Let me go here. I'm gonna add a course here real quick. Let's make this an anytime course. Right here on step 5, when you're creating a course, the course website right here is where you're going to put that. And then you would check to make sure that the course is visible in the course search. If for some reason you have a course that you're offering to like a certain population and you don't want it to show up, if you don't check that box, then it won't show up in that public course search. But here's where you're going to put that course website.
And the second part of that question was it can be used as another path to advertise the available course. So when they click that checkbox, that's how that would be advertised.
Right, that's what determines whether it's going to show up in that course search on the licensee account.
So the next one goes back to the one about having 2 accounts. So the question is one for ourselves as nurses and one for the CNE account. So if the CNE program coordinator is a nurse as well, she would have to have her own nursing account, and then the CNE part would have their own.
Correct. Yeah. And the way that they will facilitate that, yeah, because the accounts are going to do different things. The provider account is going to be the list of your courses that you're offering, kind of handle that component. And then the licensee account is where you'll track your own individual the courses that you take for licensing. You'll have a different, the one thing that it's going to require, and Carol was mentioning about when you activate your account, it's going to ask for some information that they don't provide to us. What it's going to ask for is that you create a username and a password, and then also give us an email address. Make sure, and it actually won't let you, the usernames will be different. So you might be like, I would be like DebC 2025 for my provider account, maybe DebC 2023 for my user account. So depending on your username, that's how it knows which account you're going to be logging into. And the two are completely separate. They don't really know how to talk to each other just because they do so many just completely different things.
Next one is one of the goals of this to streamline the annual report process.
We're hearing this loud and clear, aren't we?
We are. We're gonna do our best to make that a reality.
Yes, we will work on that. You gotta realize we're in the beginning stages of this. So I think there's lots of possibilities. There's lots of work for us yet to do. But I think that's a great idea about the annual report. So we will definitely work on that.
Yep.
Next one, is there a fee for education providers to enter their accredited activities?
I'm not sure if they're meaning that, is there a charge to enter their courses that they've approved? I'm not sure if that's what they're talking about, but there is no charge, correct?
Right. Yep. No charge for the courses. The only, if you were a brand new provider and you were setting up an account, there's, the fee that you would pay. That's just, I think right now we even have that set up. That doesn't even come through us. It just goes directly to you. So the only fees we ever would charge, or the fees that we ever facilitate, are just the fees that the board would charge, and we don't take any cut of that. We're not involved in that at all. That just is handled directly by them. So as far as the CE broker side, there isn't any fee. Just in complete transparency, there we do have, and I didn't know if I was going to mention this or not, but I will. We do have an LMS that you can host courses on the LMS. And if you choose to do that, there's some other benefits to that. And there is a little bit of a profit sharing type process with that. If you're interested in that, or you want to know more about it, again, reach out to the support center and they can put you in touch with our marketplace team and they can explain that. But that's obviously optional. You don't have to do that. Courses still show up in the course search, even if you're not part of that. The benefit to the LMS hosting is people, as opposed to migrating from CE broker over to like a provider website, they can do everything right in their CE broker account. So it just is easier for them, kind of that one-stop shopping. But again, totally optional. And everything that I've shown you here today, there's no charge for.
Next, when will we administrators get our account information?
I'm going to start as soon as Carol and I are going to coordinate with the list. We'll get those started to get set up. My goal is that we should have those, I'm thinking with the holiday next week, I'm thinking that we should have those out probably like by the first week in December. We should be able to get those out pretty quickly. Again, like I was saying, if you're really anxious to get started, send an email to our support center, provide us the primary contact name, email address. They'll pass that on to me and I can kind of bump you up to the head of the line and just make sure that we get the people who are really interested, get those accounts set up right away. And then otherwise we'll kind of work through that list, and with our goal to have that done by first week in December. Does that sound, Carol, does that sound doable on your end?
Yeah, I think that would be reasonable. Yeah.
If we are using this system, would we not have to provide a certificate to Kansas licensed nurses?
Carol can probably answer that. I'm saying probably yes, they still would.
I think they would. You have to realize not all nurses are going to use this. And
Right.
The benefit of this for the Board of Nursing is, okay, when I renew my license, I get chosen for a CNE audit, Okay, if I have entered everything in CE Broker and all of my 30 hours plus are in CE Broker, then we as the Board of Nursing can go in and see that transcript. However, if I have chosen not to use CE Broker, then I'm going to have to provide all of those certificates like they have to do now. So I would say, yes, you still do, because it's not required, again, that our licensees use this for CE management, tracking, and all of that. Is that right, Deb?
Yeah, that would make, and also if as a provider, you're choosing not to report the completion for the licensee, they'll need that certificate in order to report it themselves. The one option that they do have, if I jump over here also, that they can do, even if it's reported by the provider, so the provider reported this course, they can then take that CE certificate and attach it here. So it becomes a nice little electronic filing cabinet for them where they can keep all of their certificates together. It's not like me when I used to have to do CE where it was in a file or a drawer where I'd lose it or it was scattered all around. So it makes it nice and easy for those licensees. So I think it's a kind of an added benefit for them to get that certificate of completion, and then they can actually attach that to that provider reported course.
Next one, can we link through HealthStream or only your LMS?
It's just our LMS, yeah. So as far as HealthStream, that's kind of a different type of situation. So yeah, it would just be through, if you're really interested in hosting courses on the LMS, that's set up directly through your provider suite. And the one thing I might mention about, not to be a big sales pitch for the LMS, the one thing that it does do, it generates those certificates of completion for you and automatically reports the courses and puts that certificate in the CE Broker account as well. So that's kind of one of the fancy things that it does.
Do we need to whitelist any email addresses in particular?
I don't think so. I'm trying to think. No, because the support has kind of they have a different way that they do email. Not that I can think of right off the top of my head.
And do you have promotional flyers we can send out to staff so they know of this benefit and how to access?
I think there's information on the website, isn't there?
Yeah, if you go to our website and go under continuing education, you'll find a thing about CE Broker, a link to CE Broker. And if you open that up, that provides a lot of information that I think would be very helpful. We put it in our newsletter, and our newsletter is also available on our website. So that would be my suggestion versus flyers people handing out. But
and then going back to having the 2 accounts for the nurses and the CNE, Melanie was just hoping there was an administrator button.
Sorry, yeah, we have that question sometimes because it's like, I'm a provider, but I'm a nurse. Do I? Yeah. So you would have this licensee account and then also that provider suite.
And that is all the questions that I see.
Okay, this is Carol, and I just want to say a huge thank you to CE Broker. They have been wonderful about understanding all of our regulations, all of what the licensees have to do, what the providers have to do, and have basically put this together for us based on Kansas. And as you probably have figured out, we're still in the beginning stages, so there's some opportunities here. And I'm sure that we'll be able to work with CE Broker on that. They have been wonderful to work with. And just as a plug, if you have questions or problems or something with CE Broker, please contact their support. Don't call the Board of Nursing, because we don't know it as well as they do. And we would just give you the contact information to contact CE Broker. And that's for providers and also licensees. We actually want you to get the information, the right information, the fastest as possible, and that is to go to CE Broker. And they've got great support, so that should not be a problem. But I want to thank Deb for doing this today. We appreciate that. And if we need to have her come back, you know, to talk about like the annual report or something like that, once we get that worked out, we'll certainly bring her back. And other than that, thank you for coming. We are going to have this recording available, and I'll send out an email to the distribution list once we get it up and everything, so you can refer back to it. Other people who are not able to be here can refer to it. And I think that's it. Thank you all for joining us. We appreciate your time today, and we give you 2 minutes of your time. So thank you.
Thank you.